Yeah, I was really lucky to find one so new.
I know. Last week I came and they were all patina.
Yeah, well, I usually don't get them, but this is such a great deal.
Hope you make good use of it.
Bye.
Bye. Kind of exactly the same thing.
It was only 4 years ago when a young man from Skopje came into my father's shop. He was very polite and well-dressed, and he asked about life in our town. When I said there was little to do, my father asked if he was there to talk or to buy something. My father is very old-fashioned, and he was always protecting me from boys, which I did not like. I was almost 17 years old and did not need my father's protection. The smile the young man gave me said he understood. But he talked to my father politely, paid for some items, and I saw him going away in a Mercedes-Benz car. I was very angry with my father, and many times think of the young man in his expensive car. Perhaps 2 weeks later, the young man arrived again. This time, my father was away to the cafe, and we talked. Later, I wonder if he watched the shop to see my father going out. His name was Demir, and he spoke of the famous cities he often visited: Rome, Paris, Madrid, and many other ones. I could only dream about it. I said how much I wanted to see them, and Demir said how he works for a modeling agency that looked for pretty girls like I was. My face became red, but I enjoyed him to say such things. To live and work in Paris. If I wanted to do it, he would arrange for a colleague to speak with my parents. I was very excited and said yes. Some days passed, and a woman entered the shop. She was Demir's colleague. Her jewelries and expensive clothes made me embarrassed with my own. She spoke to my parents and showed them a contract. I will earn a certain amount of money, so much to me for living, and the rest to my parents. When my father asked about safety, Vanja said how young models look together and always with a chaperone. I begged them to allow me, and finally my father signed. I remember he was very sad about me going away. I was in heaven. The next week Vanja returned. In her car were 2 other girls, one gypsy girl, younger than me, and another Albanian, a little older. I kissed my parents goodbye. It was the last time I saw them. We drove some hours to Duras on the coast of the Adriatic Sea. Demir was waiting for us. He had our new passports but told us he must keep them. It was the first time I saw the sea and the first time in a ship. We followed Demir, who had our tickets and travel documents. He said for our safety he must lock the door to a room, but that he would return in the morning. 2 of us had to share a bed, but only for one night, and the next day will be in Italy. The next morning, we arrived in Bari. Demir took us to a house where the streets are dirty and we see beggars and even rats during the day. We were nervous because we were expecting something very different than that. When we entered the house, it smelled as bad as the ship. There were many girls' magazines, wine bottles, and cigarettes on the floor. Some men were sitting inside. They laughed and looked at us in a bad way and speak to Demir in Italian, which we did not understand. I asked him who they are, but the polite young man from my father's shop grabbed my arm and said something very bad in Albanian. He hit me on the face. I fell on the ground and he pulled me by my hair into a room and hit me more than once until my face started bleeding. I did not understand what had happened. I heard the other girls screaming, and then he raped me and gave us no food. He said this was modeling, and we must do it for anyone, they said. He paid for our passports and documents. They belonged to him, and to be without them in a foreign country means going to prison if the police find us. If we try to escape, he and his friends will kill us, and no one will ever know. If we succeed and go to the police, bad things will happen to our families, and everyone will hear we are prostitutes. He laughed and said how we were stupid girls from farms. He asked what our parents and friends would say if they knew how many men we had been with already. It was very cruel to make us feel ashamed for what he made us do.